Am I the a-hole for being honest with CPS when they were called on my parents? I, 16 male, have a brother, 13 male, and 2 sisters, 12 and 9. Our parents are the kind of people who will help everybody who's anybody to the extreme. Usually, I'm the one who has to give up the most for that. They will let people stay with us when they're between homes, their house is getting work done, or someone's visiting. And I always have to give up my room to guests if there's more than the guest room can fit. My siblings keep theirs, and usually I'm sent to the living room. When we were younger, I went to my brother's room, but not anymore, and there is no room for a bed in there anyway. Sometimes we could have like 10 extra people staying with us for weeks at a time, especially in summer or at Christmas. Money gets tight because guests never have to contribute, and space is super tight because we're all on top of each other. My parents say that being the oldest and having my own room are the reasons I need to give up my room when my brother and sisters don't. Occasionally, a cousin or two the same age as my brother will share his room with him, but they share the bed. And it's a really tight squeeze. When we started having people stay over more and more, I just got my sleeping bag and moved into the basement with a few things. In the 3 nights since 2025 started when I could have slept in my own bed, I didn't even bother. And yeah, that's how bad it is. My dad's brother, his wife, and their 3 kids are essentially living with us now. Dad's parents decided to come and stay for the summer too. Then one of Mom's friends started staying with us 6 weeks ago with her family. But then my dad's ex-stepdaughter, he was married before Mom and had no kids but still talks to his ex's daughter, and her family needed a place to crash, so they stayed. That meant my room, the guest room, and the living room were full, and the basement was too, so I went to crash at a friend's house. When I was there, I told his parents, and his parents reported it to CPS, saying I had not had my own bed in months, and that I would get there starving, because as the hosting family, we get to eat last at home. CPS interviewed me, and I was honest about everything. I told them why I went into the basement full-time, about us eating last, and everything that was going on. CPS warned my parents that they needed to have better accommodations for the 4 of us. I think they have to work with CPS for a few months now on stuff, take some classes, and have fewer people at the house. My parents wanted to know why CPS knew certain things, and I told them I was honest with them. It pissed them off badly, and I told them they'd screwed me over all the time, so why should I care about the trouble they're in? Does that make me the a-hole? I'm spending most nights at my friend's house still, by the way. Now for the top comments. You are not the a-hole. You are 16. It is not your job to be an adult in this situation. I wish my parents knew that. Maybe this will wake them up to that. I actually adore that you are honest with everyone. That is pretty mature, and it is a quality to be admired. All you kids deserve better because you are kids. I know you feel older because you have had to be, but remember, you are still a kid. I bet what's happening here is that the parents enjoy the validation they get from people other than their kids about how they're so great and helpful. They wouldn't get the same feelings from their kids. They do. I don't see any other reason to stuff so many others into your house at once. Are you keeping CPS updated? You should tip them off and suggest when they should stop by to check up on you. Make it at a time when the house is full and there is not enough food to go around. No, I haven't talked to them since, but they are keeping a watch over everything and they know everyone's still there. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom why I'd help feed her husband, or their kids when I want nothing to do with them? My mom lost custody of me, 17 male, when I was 7. She and my dad were divorced. She was flaky about stuff with me, like helping with homework or picking me up from school. Then she met her husband, who had a criminal record, drugs and assault. After they got married, she tried to deny Dad his custody time and wouldn't let me go back to him until a judge ordered that I be put in his custody. Dad called the police and they went to the house, tried to make Mom surrender custody, but she wouldn't. Because the police didn't want any violence, they just logged every time she refused to give me over. Her husband was also arrested in front of me when she was refusing to let me see Dad. At the end of it all, it was decided I should stay in Dad's custody. Mom was given visitation briefly when I was 12, but that was cut short because she tried to make me leave with her and had to be removed from the place we used to meet at. Then 18 months ago, she got visitation back again, and she's keeping it now. It started with 3 hours once a month, then turned into going to her house for a few hours, and then into an overnight. It's still one overnight, but I stay from 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. the next day. And yeah, this was agreed at my age with me not wanting to go. The judge ordered family therapy for me and her for several months too, but we're finished now. I'm counting down until my birthday when I can leave her behind and never go back. When it's closer to my birthday, I'll probably refuse to go because we won't make it to court in time. So anyway, the point of my post, my mom and her husband need help feeding the kids they have together. 4 kids under 10, and they get food from a charity once a week, plus whatever they can buy, and sometimes from food banks. Mom knows I have a part-time job and that I live well at Dad's house, and she asked me to help them with food. She said I could buy stuff or share what I get at Dad's or whatever, but they struggle and we're a family. I told her we're not, and they're not my problem. She told me their kids aren't getting as much as they should. They take all the help they can get, and that they're my siblings whether I know them or not. So why wouldn't I help them at least? I asked her why I would help any of them when I want nothing to do with them. I said she should have been a better mom if she wanted me to care, and married a better guy if she wanted me to give a damn about him. My mom texted me after I went back to Dad's, and now she texts once a day telling me to at least think of the kids, and how we're still a family even if I'm angry about stuff that happened. I know the kids are innocent and that they're related to me, but I really don't feel any sibling connection or love. If Mom had never won visitation, I would have chosen not to ever meet them or have a relationship. Am I the a-hole? You are a child, and it is not your place to get a job and help support your mother's children. Have you reported this constant harassment to the court? Have you called CPS to report that she is unable to feed her children? My dad's lawyer said it won't be looked at as harassment because she says other stuff in her texts. They'll just tell us she can talk to me when she wants now. I never reported her to CPS. The bit about CPS was my first thought. And frankly, as an almost legal adult going to school and working a part-time job, your donation would be less effective in taking care of those children than what CPS could arrange if the issue is genuine. And this comes from someone whose default stance on government involvement is no. My thing with CPS is, it might help her kids by giving more resources, but those resources could screw me over if it's decided she should have an extra night or something because she can support that better. This is wild to me. Your mom kidnapped you over and over again and faced no consequences. This system is so broken, but I digress. You are not responsible for these children, and you do not have to take this nonsense from her. Call CPS. Call your lawyer. Tell them what she's doing. She can't feed her kids. She's blackmailing you, and she's harassing you. You are not the a-hole. My dad's lawyer said it won't be viewed as harassment. He said we could keep an eye on what she texts, but right now it's nothing a judge would remove visitation over her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my mom a key to my new house after everything she put me through growing up? I just bought my first home, a small fixer-upper I've been saving for since I was 21. It's not fancy, but it's mine. After years of roommates, couch surfing, and crappy apartments, having a space that's safe and quiet means everything to me. My mom found out about the house through my cousin, and the first thing she asked was when she would get a copy of the house key. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. Here's some background. I grew up in a house that never felt like home. My mom was the kind of parent who acted more like a jealous older sister than a mom. She would go through my room constantly, read my journals, make fun of me in front of guests, and treat my privacy like an inconvenience. If I cried, I was being dramatic. If I got good news, she found a way to downplay it or turn it into a competition. When I was 15, she grounded me for 2 months because I didn't want to show her my texts. I moved out at 18, and we've had a rocky relationship ever since. She's gotten better on the surface, less yelling, more polite, but I wouldn't call her trustworthy. She still asks invasive questions, still brings up old wounds like they're punchlines, and still pretends none of it was a big deal. So no, I don't want her to have a key to my home. When I told her that, she got icy and said I was holding a grudge over teenage drama. She also said I'd never know when I might need her to check on me, which honestly just confirmed exactly why I don't want her to have access. My aunt took her side and told me I was being disrespectful, that she's still my mother, and it's just a spare key. But to me, it's more than that. It's about feeling safe. It's about boundaries I never had growing up and finally get to set now. I told my mom this house is my space, and I want to keep it that way. Now she's barely speaking to me, and I'm getting guilt-tripped by other family members who say I'm being cold and ungrateful. I don't think I'm wrong for drawing a line, but I also didn't expect this much backlash. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Just because someone has a problem with your decision doesn't mean you're wrong, especially when it's someone you had a negative experience with. If someone who's been terrible to you isn't talking to you, consider that a blessing. Thank you for the reassurance. It's weird though, how even now I catch myself feeling bad that she's mad, like I owe her emotional comfort. I guess I've gotten so used to minimizing my own feelings to avoid her blow-ups. But I'm done doing that. Her silence feels more peaceful than her presence ever did. Not the a-hole. A key isn't just a spare when it comes to someone who never respected your boundaries. You're not being cold. You're protecting your peace. After everything you've been through, you deserve to feel safe in your space. She may be your mom, but that doesn't mean she's entitled to access. Good on you for standing firm. This really helped put it into perspective. It's not just a key, it's trust, and I've never really had that with her. I've worked way too hard to finally feel safe, and I'm not giving that up out of guilt. Thank you. As far as the other family members giving you a hard time, just say, "This is between me and my mother." Full stop. They don't get a say. Or, "Thanks for your opinion, but I'm not opinion shopping right now." Relationships are always between two people. Don't let others triangulate them. The only reason they're trying to influence you is because they're sick of your mother complaining. But instead of dealing with her, you're a safer target. Their feelings are misplaced. They're transferring them from your mother to you. Don't let them make you the scapegoat. Your mother is reacting from a place of fear because she's losing control over you. But that's not healthy, and it wouldn't be kind to her to enable it. Consider therapy, as many things that were normalized for you are not healthy. You deserve emotional support and help in maintaining boundaries with your mother and family. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my parents meet my children because they didn't want me to marry my deaf wife? I am 29 male. My parents didn't see that my wife, 28, has a big heart, an awesome personality, and how beautiful she is. All they saw was that she was deaf. I asked them how ignorant they could be. They argued that she would pass her disability on to any children we have. Long story short, they said they wouldn't accept her into the family. I told them they weren't accepted into ours and that any children we have, they wouldn't know about them. Jessie cried when I reluctantly had to tell her why they weren't attending our wedding. I hated them more for that. Only my sister 29 came, and she's the only one I speak to. I haven't spoken to or seen my parents since. We now have twins, a boy and a girl, and they are both hearing. My sister came to visit and said our parents found out about them and asked her to ask me and Jessie if they could meet them. I immediately shut that down and told my sister to remind them they rejected Jessie first and they can buzz off. My sister later texted and said they both want to apologize. I said it was too late. I told Jessie about the request and she said maybe we could reconsider and take it slow. My friend said it could be the healing and closure I need. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if they want to see my children because they found out they are hearing. I don't know if I'm being selfish and only thinking about how I feel. Am I the a-hole? They can come when they have learned sign language. I'd ask for an admission of what they've done and an apology in sign language. If there's clear contrition and effort in learning sign in order to fully accept his wife, then let them apologize to her. Then have a discussion about how they'll be introduced to the children, the role they'll play, and the boundaries that need to be respected. They rejected OP too, based on his decision to marry what they see as a lesser person. They are parents who voluntarily chose a life without their son. OP alone is not good enough for them. He and his wife are getting this opportunity only because of my grandbabies. OP and his wife are a necessary means to an end. They are an exception that must be made for them to get what they want. This is conditional and selfish love. These people do not deserve OP, his wonderful wife, or their grandchildren. I agree, but the condition here is that their grandbabies are hearing. If the babies were deaf, I really doubt that OP's parents would have changed their minds and hearts, perhaps even felt justified in their rejection. Would they still want to be a part of the grandchildren's lives if they ever lose their hearing or develop another disability? Or is their love conditioned on the requirement that the babies remain not disabled? Will they blame OP's wife for any disability that could arise? This does not feel like an opportunity for healing and closure. It feels like an opportunity for OP's parents to exert control over his life again on their terms, without examining their previous bigoted and self-centered behavior. If you didn't have hearing kids, they never would have reached out. They still don't want your wife to be part of the family. They only want access to the grandkids. Your wife is not an incubator. She deserves respect. Not the a-hole. Keep these toxic people away. Imagine years down the road. Kid, Grandma, why do you never interact with my mommy? Grandma, because she's deaf and not worthy. And on top of that, if the next kid is deaf, then they won't want to be involved either. How awful for that child to grow up as the discarded grandchild. Not the a-hole, but keep them away. This is exactly where my head went. What if the next one is deaf? Are they only going to want to be in the lives of the hearing children? Are you going to let them stay in their lives if they want nothing to do with their mother and sibling because they consider them less than? If you decide to cut them back off at a later date, what are you going to tell your kids?